Right, here we go.
I don't know what that was. If it was that thing you were talking about with the um you know the files not being on the computer actually, or what?
Yeah, I had to do a ton of work to fix that on my
Yeah.
computer
Yuck.
this past week, but I
Right.
think I fixed it, so that's good.
Neat.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yep.
Batman 1989.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go. One, two, three, click. We're rolling. One, two, three, clap.
Clap. One, two, three, clap.
Clap.
All right. In the late 20th century, superhero movies were on the rise, and so was Tim Burton, a young animator and director who'd been fired by Disney early in his career for consistently making decisions with his work that were decidedly anti House of Mouse. Decisions that were macabre, dark, and unconventional. However, after several commercially and critically successful films that allowed Burton to lean into his unique creative process, he was offered a massive DC intellectual property that had movie studios raising their eyebrows and clutching their pearls once again. Say that again. That had movie studios raising their eyebrows and clutching their pearls once again. And nothing was more unconventional than his casting of the superhero himself. The internet, even in its relative infancy, was abuzz with fanboys and girls falling all over themselves, questioning the choice of the star who, though a proven box office draw, was considered far too quirky and comedic to play the earnest, powerful, and culturally significant hero. That actor was Nicolas Cage, and the film was Superman Lives. While the movie never made it past pre production, it remains one of Hollywood's great what ifs and one of Hollywood's great why nots. After all, Burton had already redefined the summer blockbuster in 1989 by bringing his signature style and unorthodox casting to another DC mainstay. And the trend he began of casting comedic actors in the roles of super people has become standard practice. Think current examples like Kumail Nanjiani, Chris Pratt, Catherine Hahn, and Paul Rudd. Perhaps it was for the best. Michael Keaton went on to reprise his role as the Caped Crusader in 2023's flop The Flash, and Nick Cage only had to do a brief, completely bonkers, and inscrutable to the masses cameo. Plus, he got to steal the Declaration of Independence. We're the two Gomers. We're talking Batman, and this is Perfect Movie.
Welcome, everybody, to Perfect Movie, a podcast where two regular guys try to save the universe, one great film at a time. This is Anthony speaking, one of those two aforementioned Gomers coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia, with my friend Steven, all the way out in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Hey, dude.
Hey, man, this movie
Mm,
shoots me back to being 10 years old,
okay.
maybe 11,
Uh huh.
and going to Record Town at West Town Mall
Yeah.
and picking up that CD, one of my first CDs ever.
So, did you buy the Score CD or did you buy the
Oh, yeah.
Prince CD?
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, I can't wait to go back to the summer of 1989 in this podcast.
Yeah.
But I was annoyed at the Prince CD. I was like, why would you buy that? I was
Well,
like,
it
people,
is weird.
this score. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we'll totally get to that. And also, it's totally awesome and everything. But I'm just
Yeah.
talking about my 10-year-old self.
Right.
I'm like, why? Like, it was the same thing with Forrest Gump a few years later. It's
Hmm.
like, why would you buy the soundtrack when you could buy the score CD?
And
This
why is
little,
the Forrest Gump CD uh soundtrack or the music like, well, what is it? What's the difference? I mean, would you call the double CD of Forrest Gump the soundtrack or not?
yeah, that's the soundtrack.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then the score, original score,
Original score. Yeah.
is the orchestra. So like for Forrest Gump, it was the one with a lot of green on the album.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the album cover was green,
Yeah.
and it's Jenny and Forrest sitting in the tree, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The soundtrack was white,
Yeah.
right? And then for this, I mean, this score
Mm.
was it's the moon with the Batwing,
Mm.
fighter
Yep.
over the moon, ET style,
Mm-hmm.
and it came in like I don't know if you remember this. I'm sure you do. CDs when you used to buy them were at twice as tall as a CD,
They were in that
right? So it came in a
cardboard thing. Yep.
yeah, like
Yeah.
a rectangular cardboard box where the bottom was completely useless,
Yeah.
you know?
I wonder if that was a display. If that was for
Hmm.
display purposes, they needed to get it up
Yeah.
so that I don't know.
Sure.
I guess that doesn't make that much sense because you need to stagger them anyway. But I do remember the cardboard sleeve. I don't know if I told you this on the Forrest Gump episode, but I remember being at Best Buy, being in the soundtrack section, and somebody next to me saying, "Why would you buy that one?"
Oh, so
to
the
the
opposite of what I'm saying?
Silvestri score.
Yeah, yep.
Like, why in the world would anybody buy that
Yeah.
over the soundtrack?
Like you buy it on accident, you know?
100%. I wonder if that was what his point was. Like, I
Totally.
wonder how many people buy that one by accident.
Yeah. Like cuz they're probably sold out of the Prince one
Yeah.
and the Forrest Gump soundtrack one. So it's like, "Oh, well they still have some. I'll buy
Hmm.
that." And they get it home and it's just do 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 dee, 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 doo, dee, dee,
Hmm.
dee, doo, dee, dee. I
Which I
mean,
do think that Elfman, the Batman theme was probably on the Prince CD, just like
mm,
on the Forrest Gump soundtrack there were a couple Silvestri tracks.
okay. And clips of audio too. I think if I remember right, weren't
Oh,
there clips from the movie?
I don't remember that,
Like
but maybe,
voice
yeah, sure.
clips.
Yeah.
Like you ever dance with the devil in a pale moonlight?
I mean, there's
Or
you could do a whole CD of weird things that Jack Nicholson says in this movie.
totally. And Michael Keaton.
Weirdos, both. These
Yeah.
guys are so weird in this movie,
Yep.
and I love it. Um,
Totally.
we just said a billion things. I'm the image. I guess a question that I have for you is: you bought the soundtrack. Did you see
Yep.
this in the theater?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I did.
Okay, I'm sure
I
I
mean,
didn't.
so I would have been okay. So I would have been 10.
Uh huh.
I mean, if anybody that's listening to this movie that's 10, 15 years younger than us and
Mm-hmm.
listening to this podcast, the it's impossible to describe except now you could think of, Marvel or something like that, of course, but how much this was everywhere. The
Right.
billboards,
Mm-hmm.
the albums, the Prince on the radio, for
McDonald's
me, the
stuff,
score.
the
Yeah,
like
McDonald. Yeah.
toys,
Oh yeah.
like it's sort of Star Wars-ish in
Hmm.
that way. They talk about Star Wars all the time as like changing the game on all that stuff. Um, but I think that Batman, and this why I wanted to do it
Yeah.
to kick off the summer of Perfect
Yep.
Movie, is that it totally. I mean, and this was on Anthony's list. I mean, this is on our
Oh
Google
yeah.
Doc. This is Anthony's pick. Um, and so I love talking about movies that change the game. And this is
Yeah.
100% one of those movies. We just
Yeah.
did our perfect movie experiences episode, right, for
Yep.
6.2 folks. And I listed movies that came out between 87 and 89 that I remember seeing in the theater. And
Mm-hmm.
this, incredibly, was not one of those. I did not see
Mm.
this in the theater. The movie to see in the theater in 1989, I didn't see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but around this time when we get to the one sheet, I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna see what was else in the theater at the exact same time. This one, I mean, I don't know if I did or not. I remember going to it in the theater.
Okay.
I mean, I remember, it's like the Home Alone opening where
Uh-huh.
I'm like, just my mind is blowing up with I love this music.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize that main titles and main title sequences were going to be my favorite things ever.
Mhm. That's
Uh
funny. Yeah. This
that,
main title sequence is
I mean,
incredible.
I still watch Prometheus first 3 minutes whenever possible. I still
Uh-huh.
watch Day After Tomorrow first few minutes. You know, I mean, think about The Firm, incredible. We should do perfect main title.
We talked about this in Speed, that the
Yeah.
just the bum 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 bum, that like
Yeah.
the music sucks, but I love it, and it's just going
Yeah.
down the elevator shaft is the main
Yeah.
title sequence, and it's incredible.
Yep. I mean, totally. So that's wasted content. I was just like racking more up
No,
immediately.
don't worry.
I
I'll
mean,
write it down. Best
Deep
opening sequence.
Impact,
Yeah.
uh, A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
Um,
Forrest
but
Gump. Forrest Gump is a great
Forrest,
opening sequence.
totally.
Yeah.
So, like, and I remember it had to have been in the theater because in that main title, you're following the logo or the
Mm-hmm.
new bat symbol,
Mm-hmm.
which I didn't look it up. It's modernized from the original one from the TV show, right? Like,
Yeah.
don't they always with
Let me
each
look
new
at that.
franchise kind of make it a little bit unique, almost like a new font,
Certainly
kind of?
now they do, but I wonder if, I mean, the logo
Mm-hmm.
gets ha- carries so much weight on its shoulders
Oh yeah.
in this whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the when we get to the VHS, there it doesn't even say Batman on the front of the VHS. It's just
Yep.
the
You're
logo,
right.
no text.
Wow.
I remember seeing that in the movie theater in Austria. That was the poster, just the
Mm-hmm.
logo, no text,
Mm.
no no. I mean, not only no title, no text. I'm talking about,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
I think what you're talking about, which is people who weren't alive then, can't really grasp. I don't think how massive this was.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can because you can think of something that's massive now, but we're now living in a market that's super duper flooded. Then it
Yeah,
was like, this is it.
it's it.
Although, when we get to the other movies that came out that summer, there were a ton more, but it was like, this was what you're talking about.
Every
This was
other
what,
movie on this list had text on the poster. This is the
yeah,
only movie that didn't even need that. It was so
yeah.
huge.
Because the only other one I can think of a couple years later is Jurassic Park, but that had the
And
words.
I think that poster is a they're trying to replicate what Batman was
Mm-hmm.
doing with that same thing,
Yep.
which is just the logo. But I mean, I used to have that poster hanging in my bedroom. At least they said who the director was on the bottom. This one you didn't even the property, even though Burton directed it, Nicholson
Yeah.
and Keaton are in it. The
Yeah.
property was what people were going to this movie for. Nothing
Yep.
else. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
What about the S from Superman?
They I don't think well they didn't do that, right? And so I don't know why. That wasn't the poster, I don't think. Let me see what the Superman poster was.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I mean, Jaws, just Jaws. Although I saw a recent old poster from Jaws and my mind was blown.
I love that poster.
It's perfect.
Yep.
But I think the VHS box. I mean, do you have that one?
I don't.
Dang. Okay, we got to get that
The
one.
Superman poster that I'm most familiar with says Superman on it.
Okay.
It's not just the logo. Um, I just think the balls it takes to do what they did with the Batman
Mm.
poster is
Hmm.
just so amazing.
It's incredible, and
Everybody
that's why
knows
I
what this
think.
is, and here it is, and you are gonna love it.
Yeah, and that's why I think we saw it in the theater because I remember them traveling through that logo and
Mm-hmm.
then the pullback and you're like
Mm-hmm.
it's the like because you're like where are they? They're in some cave. Are they in the back cave? What's going on here?
So good.
And then it just zoom out and all it was a tiny camera inside. Like how did they even film that?
I'm
That's
sure it's
not
a bit.
CGI.
No, I'm sure it's a
Or-
big model. I'm sure
Okay, and they just
it's floor sized,
fly a camera
and they're
through it.
just some guy is holding the camera, flying it through.
Dude, that's cool.
It's so Burton, right? I mean,
Yeah,
he does this with Beetlejuice. He does this with
yeah.
there's Pee Wee model stuff, right? There's
Wonka, right? He does this with Wonka.
there is model stuff in
Yeah,
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. He loves flying through models slowly.
Hmm.
Edward Scissorhands, this happens. So yeah, like,
Yeah.
but the trick he pulls here, which is you think you're going through the Batcave,
Mm,
and it's the logo
mm.
worth the price of admission. Like, stop. That's all I need to see.
Yep.
So good. Yeah, I love it.
100%.
Yep.
100%.
We should go to the one sheet.
Yep. Okay. So, Batman 1989. It's not called Batman 1989, by the way, everybody, but
Well,
this is
and
how you can find it.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
I am realizing it does say that on IMDb, right? It says Batman in parentheses
does it?
1989 for some reason well, it doesn't. So here's why I
Okay.
was saying that, because I thought, well, other movies aren't called Batman, but I'm wrong about that. There are no other movies called Batman.
Hmm. By the way, when I just opened up IMDb, at the very top is Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
A new trailer just dropped this morning.
Michael Keaton. That's very
Isn't that weird?
apropos
Yeah.
of what we're talking about right now. Yeah, you're right. This is the only one. So when you search on IMDb, which is one of our favorite apps, Batman 1986, or sorry, 1966 is what the TV show was called.
Yep. But I think this
Um,
is the only movie called Batman. Maybe I'm wrong. Is there
no, no, no.
another?
I think you're right. I'm trying to look at the logo that's on Adam West's chest. I mean, yeah, dude, the logo's totally different. It looks more like a bat.
Right.
And the
Yep.
suit is, no offense, I mean, it's campy, but it's so dumb looking.
I mean, we need to talk about camp a little bit, but like that suit
Yeah,
sucks.
there's camp.
Oh, this movie, it's dripping with camp, but it's
Yeah,
different than the 60s show, right?
right.
Um so yeah, I love looking at all the Batman logos and seeing how they've changed.
Yeah,
It's fun.
yeah. No, it's yeah. I mean, it looks like he's wearing a jumpsuit, and he's kind of middle agey, a little soft. No
Yeah.
offense or anything,
Yep.
but like it's just different than what they would do now.
Right. Yep.
Because now he's got steel abs, literally.
Yeah.
But you're right,
Exactly. I don't think
Batman.
Michael Keaton has abs though.
Right. I mean, of course he does. We all do.
No, but you know what I mean. He
But
doesn't
right,
have chiseled
Ex-
abs. Those
exposed.
are definitely suit created abs.
Oh yeah,
They all
for
are,
sure.
but I would say probably of the Batmen, Michael Keaton has the least actual defined abs. That's
Uh-huh.
my guess. Well,
He,
maybe Adam West has fewer.
okay, right. Adam West looks like a normal guy. You know what I mean?
Yes,
He
does.
doesn't really look like a movie star. And
Yeah.
he's in my favorite Robinson Crusoe on Mars.
Oh yeah, you love that movie. Robinson Crusoe on Mars.
Yeah, dude.
Anyway, there's no other movie
Yeah.
called Batman, so I've always been calling it Batman 89 as we've been promoting this episode.
Hmm.
But I'm realizing the closest that gets to it is the most recent one, The Batman, right? But that
Right.
one's not called Batman, it's called The Batman. They didn't drop
Hmm.
the.
Yup.
Justin
Well,
Timberlake would
and
be mad about that movie.
and then anything Christopher Nolan related is Dark Knight.
Well, Batman Begins.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, so Batman Begins and then
Yep.
Dark Knight Rises. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Huh.
we probably don't need to keep calling it Batman 1989, but it is.
No,
It's not wrong to say that.
I like that. I don't have a
Okay.
problem with it.
Great.
I was just clarifying for anybody that's watching, because like,
Mhm.
wouldn't that be weird if they were like, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes 2024?
There's only one of those.
Right. Well, also true.
Yep.
Oh, and I've actually seen a movie that you haven't seen. Is this a record on the podcast?
No, I haven't seen Robinson Crusoe on Mars.
I showed parts of it to you though.
Okay.
But I mean, a new movie. This might be a record.
Yeah, good job.
Although probably by the time this episode drops, you would have seen it.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. So Batman 1989 came out June 23rd, 1989, coming in at 2 hours and 6 minutes. Maybe a little long. Maybe we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Budget 35 million. Gross at the box office 251 million. Domestic 411 million worldwide. I believe at that point it was the biggest opening weekend of all time,
Yeah, I think
only
that
to
sounds
be
right.
surpassed by Batman Returns.
Oh, okay. It didn't happen again until then? Wow.
Well, maybe Jurassic. Well, for sure Jurassic Park. I just can't remember when Returns comes out.
I think Returns came out in 91. So it would be
Okay.
92 maybe. It was pre Jurassic Park for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang, we're also got to talk. Is Batman Returns better than this? Oh
Mm,
gosh, drop of that. I gotta drop that one later.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. It did win an Academy Award for Best Art and Set Decoration.
Okay.
I can't. Of course, if I was to music or to art and production as I was to music, I would know who that is, and I think he's super famous and awesome.
Okay.
The guy that designed the bat suit is really famous, and the production designer is really famous.
Okay.
That's not my wheelhouse. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. Obviously won Academy Award, he or she. All right. Other movies released around the same time. This is nuts, dude.
Yeah.
So at the same time this is in the theater, we've got Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Me and my dad
Mhm.
are over there.
Yep.
You and your dad are in Austria, right?
Over at Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade. Yep.
Crazy. Lethal Weapon 2, Rain Man, which I couldn't believe is the fourth highest at the box office for the year. Isn't that interesting?
And the Best Picture winner that year, I think. Rain Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Academy Award winner for Dustin Hoffman, right?
Was it? Yeah, probably.
And I know Bill Simmons' take on that is that Tom Cruise should have won Best Actor.
He's got the harder job, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that
Mhm.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he still hasn't won an Academy Award, and I know that's pretty crazy.
When he jumps out of a plane and dies someday, they'll give him a posthumous
Yeah, like
Academy
posthumous, like honorary doctorate Academy Award.
Award. Yeah.
All right, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Oh, baby, I was at that. Ghostbusters 2, super scary.
Great opening sequence on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Animated.
Animated, incredible.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
That one and City Slickers, same vibe.
Definitely. And Christmas Vacation. That was like
Yup.
the season of animated opening sequences. Weird.
You're right. That was the same year too. Dead Poet Society was up there for this year. We'll probably talk that in about other cast choices.
Oh.
Because apparently Robin Williams was one of the guys they were talking to for Joker.
Okay.
And so had that happened,
Yeah.
who's in Dead Poet Society?
Nicholson?
Professor
he
Nicholson.
could do it. He could do it.
Oh yeah, I feel like the age differential is weird.
Okay.
For Nicholson, like Nicholson 15, 20 years before this Dead Poet Society.
That would work, yeah.
Super different vibe, but it could work for sure.
Yeah.
Look Who's Talking, super pervy opening, another animated opening. Not sure why I watched that as a kid. I mean, it's just I have to keep reading. Parenthood, Back to the Future 2, which at the end of it said we're going to see Back to the Future 3 in a few months.
Uh-huh. Showed the trailer for Back to the Future 3 at the end of Back to the Future 2.
Wow. Christmas Vacation, Bill and Ted, Little Mermaid, Uncle Buck, Field of Dreams, Twins, The Abyss, Star Trek V, Steel Magnolias, Turner and Hooch, When Harry Met Sally. I mean, dude.
Wowzers.
That's nuts.
And for this movie to rise above them all on box office is pretty incredible.
Yeah, dude. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes, 76% critic, 84% audience. So it's Audience likes it. Critics, I think Roger Ebert gave it like 2 stars or 2.5. No, I think 2.
Didn't like it, I think. Didn't get
Didn't
it?
like it.
Didn't.
He
Yeah.
said, I read it. He said he loved the way it looked. Why
Yeah.
didn't you do more with great job designing a world? Why didn't you do more with it or something like
Sure.
that?
Yeah. I wonder what he thought about Batman Returns then, because they did more with it. That's for sure.
That would be a great to read. Yeah,
Yeah.
we should when we do perfect sequel.
Yeah. Um, I am not surprised by the 76% critic. I
Yeah,
think it was hard for some critics to swallow in '89. Honestly, it's a
sure.
weird movie. This is a
Is it
real weird movie. I think
okay? Is it the least weird Tim Burton though?
least weird Tim Burton. No, I think he loses his weirdness significantly later in his career, and it sucks.
Mm, okay.
I like weird. That's why I like the look of the new Beetlejuice movie, even though I don't necessarily like Beetlejuice. It looks weirder than he's done anything he's done for 20 years.
Mm, okay.
So I'm into that.
Is Burton or Elfman doing the score?
Oh, I don't know. Good question. Let me look that up.
Oh, please.
I'm
Just,
assuming
I mean,
so. The Elfman score's in the trailer, all over the trailer.
okay. Yeah,
But it's
you
this
can't.
like, this 2020s
Yeah.
reboot score trailer
Mm,
thing they do, which is
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like dee, 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 dee,
Yeah.
dee.
I know. You're like,
Jurassic World.
yeah.
It's like we know. It's very much like that. Or
They're
it's
like,
got like some
remember
modern person.
this?
Yeah, it's some modern artist singing "Daylight Come and Me One Go Home." That's the Beetlejuice trailer. Like, shut up.
Right. Seriously. It's like, can't we either come up with something new or just play the original thing?
I know, but
Can't we have anything nice? Come
I'll look up Beetlejuice.
Okay.
Beetlejuice. I mean, it's gotta be Elfman, right? That would
Yeah, I
be
mean,
ridiculous. He's still kicking. He's still writing scores.
has um has Danny Elfman done anything for anybody else?
Oh yeah, Danny Elfman was huge in the MCU for a while.
Okay. Yeah, Danny Elfman did the score.
Awesome, great.
Fantastic.
Okay, good. I mean,
Wow,
I
this
love the Beetlejuice score. It's
cast.
incredible.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, I just said that. I don't even know it, so I'm sure it's cool.
Bum, 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 da, 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 dee.
Uh,
Very Elfman.
okay, yeah. Weird, funky.
Mm-hmm. And then
Hey, what do you think
obviously in the
about?
trailer, it's like a piano note, piano note, piano note.
Right.
Shut up. I just play the score.
Yeah, totally. That's also what I thought when I watched this again
Mm-hmm.
this week is the Mickey Mousing cartooning of it
Mm.
super dates it.
Yep.
Like the Batman or the Hans Zimmer scores for the Dark Knight stuff.
Oh yeah.
Just you would never hear like like
I mean
or
the
like
the
somebody
the Dark Knight theme is two notes.
hmm,
Or something like that. Then the whole
okay.
score then is just those two notes. I gotta
Huh.
find it somewhere. It is Hans Zimmer at his most like, what if my score was two notes?
Yeah, I love that in the Academy Awards when they like they show the emblem of the movie and have the score underneath and it's just like but it's always you
Yes.
always recognize it immediately, you
I
know?
don't know how he does it. It's
It
insane.
it's like Dune. You
Yep.
know? How does he
It
do
sure
it?
is. I don't know.
So
He's
good.
good at it. Did you see Hans Zimmer? Hans Zimmer tours with like his
Yeah.
like it's that whole big thing
Yeah, 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 yeah.
coming to Vegas.
Oh, the
But
Sphere?
no, that
Let's go
would
to
be
Sphere
incredible.
again.
He's going to the I think it's at the Raiders Stadium in Vegas. Um,
Okay.
and I was thinking, is that the new Gomer's trip? we go see the
Wow.
Hans Zimmer concert, but I think tickets are similar price to what the
Yeah.
Sphere was, and I don't think we can handle that for another 4 or
No.
5
We're
years.
still paying for that.
Yeah, we need some time and space between this.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let me read the back of the box. And this is a little bit strange because the back of this box, so the front of the box I told you, just the logo.
Yep.
Back of the box, there is no description of the movie.
Oh.
There are 2 pictures. One of them is
Mm-hmm.
Nicholson mugging for the camera with that smile on
Mm-hmm.
his face. And then
Mm-hmm.
there's Keaton and Kim Basinger, right? Like
Yep.
kind of just looking at the camera. And then there's 3 quotes from magazines.
Okay.
The movie of the decade, it says on the top, from a TV station in San Francisco. 4 stars, spectacular entertainment from some news service. And then Peter Travers from the Rolling Stones has a triumph. You can't take your mind off it. Nicholson, Keaton, Batman, and then the credits on the bottom. This is the first time this has happened. And I could not find a initial release of this VHS that looked any different than this.
Wow. Okay.
So
What about the let me look up the description from uh um IMDb.
okay, good idea.
Just
I will
says
say that it's 126 minutes, PG-13, Good News Nations. It's in color. Okay.
sort of like mostly black.
Sort
It's
of.
so dark that you can barely see some scenes.
Why is it so dark? Well, that's the thing, right? They're like, this is gonna be dark. Now,
Right.
the weird thing about that is that since then, the Nolan movies have come out, and then the Robert Pattinson Batman, and
Yeah.
those are this movie in tone
You're
is
right.
like a children's movie compared to those things.
Totally. Yeah. Again with the Mickey Mousing and the colorful, like all the fluorescent 80s
Right.
poppy stuff that pops out of the darkness.
Right. Yep. Yeah. I mean, but you put this movie compared to the Batman,
Yeah.
and this is like Adam West.
Yeah, but it's like every I heard somebody else talked about superhero movies, but it's like every time you do something, you're kicking the can down a little further.
Uh-huh.
So it's like if you look at Adam West to
Yep.
this looks unreal.
Right.
But but then this to Robert Pattinson, and then what's going to happen in 30 years from then? There's still going to be more Batmans. It's like, is it just going to be purely just dark? Like there's no light?
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing next with Batman.
Is there any more Robert Pattinsons?
Not announced?
Oh,
I mean,
man.
DC is
I
under new
like that one.
management. James Gunn has taken over DC.
Mm,
The new Superman has been announced. They've got images out, but nothing about what's happening with Batman right now.
okay.
So it's up in the air. It'll be interesting to listen to this episode in a year because they can't wait another year to let us know what's going on with Batman. I don't think.
All right. There will be another one. Let
Oh,
me
yeah.
read this
They're
from
never gonna stop
IMDb.
with Batman.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay. IMDb says The Dark Knight of Gotham City begins his war on crime with his first major enemy being Jack Napier, a criminal who becomes the clownishly homicidal Joker. What?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's what it's about.
The writing is horrible. That was really hard to read.
Maybe that's why they didn't have it on the back of the box.
No, that's just somebody wrote that. Like the guy from
Needed blastings.
Night They Saved. Yeah, yeah.
All right, dude. Let's go to the trial. We got to talk about Batman.
All right, let's do it. All right, let's clap.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, clap.
Clap. 1, 2, 3, clap.
Clap.
All rise.
Hey, how's it going over there? I love this movie in the 80s, and I can't wait to hear you guys talk about it. Oh.
Now, did you watch this with the girls?
No, we didn't. I ended up watching it by myself.
Okay. I was
I
on
asked
my
them and they weren't
rewatch.
really interested.
They weren't interested.
No.
Yeah. I on my rewatch, I was wondering if it would go over well with uh young ladies.
Yeah. I think actually, you know what? They watched the last 20 minutes
Uh-huh.
and they were like, "This is supposed to be scary. This is silly."
It is silly.
That's
It,
what
it
that's
it's
what they like. They were like, "What's creepy about that?" About Jack Nicholson when he was like, they were
I mean
like, "What's creepy about that?"
that laughing box actually did used to freak me out.
Well, I mean that goes along with kids' toys in the middle of the night coming alive because you step on it or something and
Yeah,
it's
sure.
dark and you hear or like
Yep.
da da deedle dee deedle deedle doo.
Put that in a trailer for Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Oh,
Okay,
for real.
here's the rules. Here's what we do. We take a movie that we love. We talk through it and we act as its defense counsel and present evidence, two apiece, sometimes more. And when we do, you hear this sound. And we attempt to prove to you, listener, and to one another that the movie is not only good, it's perfect. And when we're done, y'all act as judge, jury, and possibly executioner because we each get a vote. Anthony gets a full vote. I get a full vote. Our listeners get a full vote. If 75% of you all vote yes, that's a yay. And if the three of us vote yay, that's perfect. And we send the movie up to an evil alien. This year, it's Locutus of Borg.
Mm-hmm.
We know it's not your fault, Picard, but you are
Mm-hmm.
evil when you're
Right.
Locutus of Borg, and so we have to do our best to convert you. And so we are
Mm-hmm.
sending perfect movies up to you to try to get you back to be a human,
Fantastic,
and
dude.
then you can go visit your brother.
That oh man, the winemaker. By the way,
Yeah.
we're in summer mode now. The girls
Mm-hmm.
are back from school, and we did watch Ferris Bueller,
Right. Okay.
and that translates incredibly.
Great.
Like it was a huge hit. They're quoting it all the time already.
Yep.
Ferris Bueller, you're my hero. That was probably the biggest laugh, other than me, ma, boo, me. Like any of Ferris's like baby talk,
Yep.
they just were laughing their butts off.
Yeah, that's good stuff. How did they respond when the car went out the window?
Shock and awe. It was amazing. It
It's one of the most shock and awe scenes of
Yep.
any movie.
And it's slow.
Uh-huh.
The movie actually is pretty long and pretty slow. Sorry, we're
Oh
not
yeah.
talking about that movie. I just because I was going to show them this and that, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, meh.
Yeah.
There's not Batman kiddos.
Well, and they're not superhero kiddos, right? Is that right? They're not into that
Right.
necessarily.
Yeah, and I guess you get into what your parents are into, and but we watched all the Marvel movies and loved them,
Well,
right?
and you
So,
are super into DC. I mean,
oh yeah,
you're very
love
into Batman,
Batman.
Superman, The
Really
Flash, we
like
can talk about
Superman.
maybe.
Maybe we'll talk Flash. Actually, they want to watch the Flash. Our neighbor
Okay.
across the street really liked it.
Okay.
I actually think I know some of it's dumb. I actually think they would like the Flash.
Okay.
I don't know.
I agree.
I don't know.
I think The Flash is I watched The Flash again
Mm-hmm.
in preparation for this recording.
I intended to, but I was watching 5 Planet of the Apes movies in preparation for last night, so I
Listen,
only got to watch this.
right, you got to have
Sorry.
your priorities. Um I I liked The Flash a lot more than I did the first
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and actually, this might go into my first evidence on this
Mm.
movie.
Okay.
I thought I was laughing during the second act.
Okay. Wow.
I like it when the Flash and his other Flash self are together.
Yes. Yep.
I thought the first act is bad,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Agreed.
think the third act is bad.
Mm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think it's a mess. but something happens in that second act when it's uh when it's like My Two Moms style, Parent Trap, right? And it's
Yep.
two Ezra Millers, and I know Ezra Miller's a terrible person, and that is hard to get over. Um,
See, I didn't know that.
yeah, I mean,
Oh no.
awful. And
Oh
so
shoot.
that is hard for
Dang
me
it.
to get over.
Oh, I didn't
But
know that.
a great actor and good in this movie, I guess. It's not a good movie, but here's
No,
my
it's
here's my
not.
first evidence, and
Okay.
maybe something that only works for me and doesn't work for like when my kids watch Batman 1989, when your kids start watching Batman 1989, even the end. And that is for me, I said this during my perfect movie experiences, the way the special effects look in this movie
Mm.
is the way I like special effects to look.
It's how Stevie likes it.
And I don't think it ages well for people that don't already love it. And so, why is
Yeah.
this supposed to look creepy? Why is this supposed to look scary? For kids, it doesn't. But I remember watching this the first time being terrified.
Hmm. So why is that? When you really think about it, why did it creep you out? And at the same age, your kids were like,
Because it's so different now. I mean, I don't think, I think it looks dumb to our
hmm.
kids. It just looks dumb.
Yep.
Now, when I watch The Flash,
Yeah.
I feel like throwing up because it looks so bad. That
Mm-hmm.
movie's special effects are terrible.
Yeah.
I
It's just
it is
you're
awful.
looking at computer dots everywhere.
The people do not
Totally.
move right.
Yep.
Like physics don't make any sense. It's all Legolas jumping off a horse or
Yeah,
jumping
yeah,
onto a
for sure.
horse special
Totally.
effects. Not you haven't improved on Legolas jumping on a horse in
Yeah.
25 years.
Yep. I think, dude, I think it's just it's all these, Weta Workshop and
Mhm.
ILM and all these people at computers, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you want more of this?" Okay, and they're just like, "Bup, bup, 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 bup," Like think about how Jurassic Park was a watershed moment and a labor of love.
Yeah.
Now it's just like these are the scenes we got to shoot. Here's our clipboards. Here's our storyboards. Make that happen.
I
You
don't know
know?
what it is about the Flash in particular, but it seemed like they had to get it done.
It's just like work the problem, people. It's like Apollo 13. We just need to make sure it doesn't crash. Like just finish
Just
it
get
and
it
go
into the
home.
theater because maybe if several people see it, we'll
Yeah.
make a couple bucks back.
Yeah.
And the
Yep.
whole movie looks unfinished.
Yeah.
Batman and its ilk in 1989 that changed my life, and I know I'm bringing a lot of nostalgia into this. I get it.
Yeah.
And so when your kids are like, why is that supposed to be creepy?
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible to explain why because it doesn't look creepy to them.
Yep.
Now, I do think when Jack Nicholson's girlfriend comes in with that
Yep.
mask on,
Mm-hmm.
that's creepy. It
That
still
works.
is.
That works. Totally.
But like when he shakes the guy's hand with the buzzer and he
Yeah, and it
burns
blows his
up,
head off. It's like it's Pee-wee. It's
Home Alone
oh,
2.
yeah, totally. It's even Raiders at the end, face melting. Although that's still creepy, but you're kind of like, didn't you say Jack thought that was stupid or
Oh,
something?
Mike, I've told this story several times. I was like, you guys can't look. You can't look at this. Too scary. And finally,
Yeah.
when they were 12 and 11, they were ROTFLing
Okay.
because they
Right.
were like, this is what you were scared of when you were a kid and you
Yeah.
thought we would be scared by. And I'm like,
Right.
look, it's creepy. The guy's head is melting.
Well,
And
it's
they're
funny
like,
because I still don't look.
there's still things. I cover my eyes when Judge Doom comes out in Roger Rabbit. Too scary.
Oh yeah.
Those
I
knives
don't
coming
look.
out of his eyes.
Yep. I don't look at Ghostbusters 2 guy at all. I don't look at
Scary.
Zool. Too scary.
Zool is scary.
Zool's legit scary. That David Bowie looking person.
Zool's scary when those, and we'll talk about Ghostbusters in October, but like
Hmm.
when those arms come out of the chair and drag Sigourney Weaver into
Yeah.
the other room,
Yep.
scary.
Hmm.
My kids are like, shrug.
Okay, that's good, and it's also fascinating.
Yeah.
So I see what you mean. Let me like yeah, I don't feel like I thought on this rewatch because I haven't sat and watched it for a really long time.
Yeah.
I thought overall looked pretty great. Like it looks super dated. There's no denying it. Like and when the girls
Mm-hmm.
walked in and watched it and they were like, "That's creepy," right? An 8 and a 12-year-old
Mm-hmm.
from 2024. Um, but I mean, the Batmobile, the Bat Wing,
Uh-huh.
uh, the balloon. I mean, the balloons looked fake but cool, sort of.
The real balloons.
They're
This is
real,
this is it for me. I know that it doesn't look as, I don't know what the word is, impressive as the Flash running fast, right?
which looks dumb because he's just going like, uh,
Why
uh,
is he
uh.
sliding? Why is he skating?
I know why. Like when you see him up close, shouldn't he be moving faster than you can see? Like, I think that's dumb.
Now, the if you, this is you know, I'm a Marvel guy. I think
Hmm.
Marvel does this so much better with Quicksilver, who has the same powers as the Flash, and X-Men does it better with Quicksilver. That's
Hmm.
fun. The, like when the Flash is doing his Flash thing, it never seems fun to me. Also, there's something that happens in the Speed Force where you see like Nicolas Cage as Superman and Christopher Reeve comes back. I mean, all these things are huge spoilers. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, that's supposed to look bad. And I'm
Mm.
like, that's supposed to look unfinished, they're saying, because it's not the right universe. And I'm like, you guys, that is an excuse. You didn't finish.
Right.
This movie at least looks finished.
Well,
Batman
that
looks like they care about it and so much effort as it looks hard. And I love
yeah.
that.
No, I think that is a perfect point, dude. I think we really dug down to figure this out just now, which is they don't care. Get it to the press,
Mm-hmm.
or get it to print, get it on those
Yeah.
things to the IMAXs, and have people stare at it and give us money.
Yeah.
This is a labor of love. I think anything Tim Burton does, just
Mm-hmm.
like Miyazaki, right? It's like every frame, every detail of every frame is thought through,
Yep.
uh, cared about. It's like he really cares about visuals.
And there is something about these first 6 or 7 Tim Burton movies where it, even though I don't like something like Beetlejuice, it's incredible to watch
Yep.
because you're like, what you're saying. He loves what he's doing. And
Yep.
he in Batman, you can see that he is part of the design of these things. And he wants Danny Elfman to write music that sound like Batman, that
Uh
when
huh.
you hear the music, even if you've never seen the movie, that's about Batman.
Yep. I know. It's the creative team that he puts together
Hmm.
rules.
Yeah. And so I'm
Yep.
wondering, just so you know, I'm wondering about the rest of this episode. Is all of our evidence going to be like this, which is this worked so hard for me when I was a kid? So I'm
Yeah.
curious then about whether or not it will get up to Locutus of Borg, if this will become perfect because we have listeners that aren't our age.
Yeah. This has to be age specific, I think. I mean, because I have in my evidence, obviously, looks, sounds, feels,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I can't separate myself from being 10, being 11, 12, 13, and
Mm-hmm.
thinking this is the coolest thing ever. Uh, Here,
Yep.
let me chunk in on one of these bad boys.
Great.
Okay, dude. So for me, okay, dude. So for me, I would just put on the evidence. I would just put the Batmobile.
This is
I'd just be
your, now
like,
you've said this many times. This is Keaton is your Batman. This
Yes.
Batmobile is your Batmobile, right?
Yeah, maybe I would set those two things there. And Jack Nicholson. So is it the cat? Maybe the casting? I don't know. Let me just go with
Let's talk
Batmobile
about Batmobile
first.
first
Let's
because
go.
then we can chunk in on casting later because we
Yeah,
have to.
let's
Right.
go Batmobile. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm 10, 11, 12 years old. I've talked about this before when we talked partner to Star Trek TNG, but I would pause on the VHS tape and just get the perfect pause and
Yeah.
just draw. Like I have sketchbooks.
Wow.
This is pre Blackwing, but I have sketchbooks galore
Huh.
of drawing logos, drawing ships and vehicles, and this was like, I mean the Batmobile, Millennium Falcon, Enterprise. I
Okay.
think those are
Those are
like
your
my
vehicles.
favorite shapes.
Not
You
only
know,
favorite vehicles, favorite shapes in the universe.
yeah. I mean, like it. So the Batmobile is a Corvette.
Okay.
It was based on, I think, a Stingray Corvette.
Oh, okay.
And they built it around that.
Yep.
Uh,
I can see that. The only reason
and
I know what a Stingray Corvette is because Anthony or Alex's for not Alex. What's my kid's name? Noah. Noah's first album is called Stingray, and there's a Stingray on the front.
oh,
I can
cool.
totally see that as the Batmobile.
Yeah, like that was their foundation. I mean, check on me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And I remember, Chad, you're listening. I remember they had this ride, Batman, at Six Flags Great America.
Yep.
It was one of those rides where you're below the railing.
Yeah,
The rail,
your feet are
your
hanging.
feet are, yeah,
Mm-hmm. Are dangling, yeah.
so fun. And they had the Batmobile there.
Out in front, like in the
Yeah.
line or something. Yeah.
Yep. So you could touch it. Like you could see it in real life. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the thing that's different about this, and now if you go to Galaxy's Edge,
Mm-hmm.
you can see life-size Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
We'll never see life-size Enterprise. I
No,
mean,
it's
NCC
way too big.
1701D, that thing can fit thousands of people on it.
Yeah, we're never gonna see it. You're right.
The crew is what, 1,000 something or 2,000 something.
Too big.
I mean, to see that saucer sep in real life would be amazing.
Hey, sep that saucer.
Can you sep the saucer and expose the battle bridge? Uh, but
But the
it's just like,
Batmobile is real, like full
yeah,
size. Is
so
that what you're
that's
saying?
what I
Like
mean.
it
So
actually looks like it did in the movie.
yeah, so I love the shape. I love the jet engine on the back.
Yep.
I mean, I think it's in the second movie when he just has a remote for it.
Well,
And
he does
he can,
the remote what the remote powers in this one is the shielding, right? Or does he or is it
no,
voice
I'm pretty sure
activated?
that's in 2 where he says shields. And then it goes like,
No, that was in this one. It's in
was that
Batman
in this?
89. Yeah, the
I
shields go
just
up.
watched it, and how did maybe I?
And it's so claymation, you know what I mean? Like it's so stop
Oh
motion, I
yeah,
should say. It's not claymation, but it's stop motion the way the shields come out.
yeah.
Because he leaves it and he doesn't want burglars to get in. So he
It's
shields
got
it.
RoboCop vibes.
Definitely.
Dang, I must have gone to the bathroom at that moment or something and missed it.
No, he shields it in this one. It's awesome.
Well, I know he shields it because I saw it shielded,
Uh-huh.
and I remembered pausing that and just oogling and ogling and drawing like I would pause it halfway and draw it like that.
Some people were doing that with oogling and ogling Jessica Rabbit in 89.
Right.
Not
They
you. You were
Jessica
Batmobiling it
Rabbit,
up.
Catwoman. I didn't even see that stuff. I was like too young and innocent. It's like pause the Enterprise D. Like
Get that dash D just right.
yeah, like I would and pause it when the Millennium Falcon shoots out in Return of the Jedi, you know.
Oh,
I mean,
so
that's
good.
top pausable scenes for me
Yep.
as a kid.
Mhm.
But I loved the Batmobile.
Yeah.
I loved the way it looked. Actually, at I think now, if I'm right, and I think I said this before, it's at the Chick-fil-A world headquarters here in Atlanta because we did a tour of it.
That
And it's
Batmobile
there.
is? Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
They probably had multiple ones.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but
Can I
I
can
don't know.
I can I say what I don't love about the Batmobile?
Too big, heavy, stupid.
Nope.
Just kidding.
Jiggles a little bit too much when it's driving. Do you know what I mean? Like it's so
Sure.
close to the ground, and I always think, is that going to hit the ground as it's jiggling?
Oh yeah. I mean, you think about what if you went to a drive-through and you had one of those curbs or a big steep driveway, you would just bottom out.
That's
Totally. It'd
just
be like a
it's the one thing the
teeter-totter.
Batmobile can't get over is a speed bump at
Totally.
McDonald's.
It'd be like a seesaw.
Yep.
Just yeah, so I agree.
I
I
love
think
the
it's too
design though.
long. I do think it's if I were to criticize it, it's too long and too low. But I just think it's so cool.
Yeah,
And
I think
again,
it's
I'm
purposefully bonkers. Like
mhm,
it's designed so that it doesn't look like any other vehicle. And that
yep,
works. That's what the Batmobile is then for 30 years, 25
yep.
years after that.
Until Nolan came up with that crazy behemoth, which I actually really like and really want that Lego set.
I mean, I think that's my favorite Batmobile.
It's so cool.
It's so awesome and it is so different than the Burton
Yep,
one. And I think
right.
that's why it works. Then they kind of go back to the Ben Affleck's Batmobile looks like Burton Batmobile.
Right.
And
Isn't his like an Audi or something?
is it?
I think
I
so.
thought
I
it was
think
long
yeah.
and I thought it was long and thin like that. I mean,
Oh no, I
there's
can't remember.
there's George Clooney and Val Kilmer, of course. And
Mm-hmm.
those there's like neon on that one and like it's kind of
Mm.
purple and blue, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
then Robert Pattinson's Batmobile is a muscle car.
Yeah, that one was cool too.
It was
Oh,
cool
I
too. I
forgot
like that one.
The DeLorean, dude. I forgot my other favorite shape.
Yeah, that's the other favorite shape. I know.
So I loved it, and I paused it, drew it, thought it was super cool.
Yeah.
That's it.
Can we talk about Batwing a little bit since we're talking about Batmobile?
Sure.
So I
Those where does
think
he get those wonderful toys?
I think that the besides the opening sequence, the image that always stuck with me most as a kid was that moon moment.
Yeah,
And
the
I just think
eclipse.
that that is such a flex,
Yeah.
which is we're gonna we know we put the logo on the poster.
Yep.
It's going on the VHS. Just in case you missed it,
Uh huh.
we're gonna make the logo out of the moon. And there's no reason he does that,
Yep.
but I get goosebumps all over my body whenever I see that, and I'm waiting for it to come. Here it comes. Here
Mm-hmm.
it comes. And I
Yep.
remember seeing that on a small TV on VHS in 1990, probably at a
Yep.
sleepover, and
Mm,
being like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in an already really cool season of movies in my life.
totally. I love the way that looks. And you're right. I thought about that on this past rewatch. It was like, why did he do that? Just because it looks cool. That's
Just
it.
because it looks good, and he's a stylistic guy, and he
Mm-hmm.
thought, wouldn't this be cool? What if we just got it to hang
Yeah.
for what is it?
Yep.
A second? A
It's
second longer
absolutely
than it
perfectly.
should hang, but like
I mean,
then it
yeah.
drops. It's so good.
It's so cool.
Yeah, I love
I
it.
mean, yeah, I kind of feel like they harken back to that in the third Matrix when the
Mm,
Nebuchadnezzar or whatever, whichever
mhm.
one he had, I think that one was dead by then.
Okay,
Flies out of the cloud cover
right up
and
over
sees the
the
sun.
nuclear clouds. Yeah,
Yeah,
yep,
that was. I feel like that was a daytime version of that.
yeah.
It's a very iconic, beautiful shot right there. I think.
Did you ever see the third Jurassic World movie?
Nope.
Okay, it's okay. All those movies are okay. That movie is the okayest of them all. But
Okay.
what I mean by that is just so like whatever. I saw it. That's what you
Yeah.
think afterwards. I saw it. There is this
Yep.
one scene where the T Rex, original T Rex from the first one, so I'll give them
The
that.
actual one.
that T-Rex is still kicking throughout all the Jurassic
Really?
World movies. Yes.
What? I thought
And
it died.
at some point it turns and silhouettes inside of a circle, and it's the
Ah,
Jurassic Park logo with the little arms. And it's just
classic.
like, shut up. There's
Oh,
it
really?
just does not work. For some
Oh
reason, Tim
man.
Burton makes this work.
And they go like
Um
da da
no,
da.
no, not the one, not the piano.
You know what made me sort of mad? Not,
Huh.
is it came up on Shuffle, that from Jurassic World.
Mm-hmm.
They play it's the original cut re-recorded with a
Yeah,
newer orchestra of that
that theme.
that cue or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it says music by Michael Giacchino. And the whole thing is just the original music. And I was
How
like,
dare they?
dudes.
How
I
dare
mean, I
they?
love Giacchino, and I think his Planet of the Apes scores were really good.
But
Um,
I mean, it's not Giacchino.
yeah,
How
and
dare
I
they?
think he would feel bad if he saw that. He'd be like, guys, like
He, he
but there's
probably
a whole
called John
generation of,
Williams and apologized. Maybe he
yeah.
did.
I'm just thinking there's a generation of people that could see that and just forget, J Dubs, that was a J Dubs cue.
J Dub's erasure is going on right there. Come on.
Right.
It's a
Come on,
it's a
dudes.
travesty. Um
Yeah.
okay. Can we talk casting a little bit?
Yeah, let's chunk in on that.
I'm gonna chunk
Or are
in.
you
We're
gonna
both
do it?
chunking in.
All right, you go for it.
I have Nicholson written down as
Okay.
my second evidence. Um
Great.
First build, Jack Nicholson,
Yeah. Wild.
which is another flex, I think, with Tim Burton saying, actually, the bad guy is important.
Well, think about that. The movie's called Batman, but the first build is Joker.
It's so cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think is Gene Hackman build over Christopher Reeve
Mm.
in Superman? I think he might be.
Hmm. Lex Luthor, Mr. Luthor,
Mr. Luthor.
Mr. Luthor, Rudy's dad.
But
Right.
Joker has such a more important job, or he has a much more important role in Batman than Gene Hackman does in Superman, I think.
Oh, way, way better. I think he is one of the original amazing anti-heroes. No, he's not an anti-hero. He's still the villain, but you
I don't
love
think he's an
him.
anti-hero. He's a villain you love. That's
Yeah,
that's different,
that's
I
what he
guess.
is. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's totally, because it would be if the movie was about him and he had somebody that was against him. Or yeah, sorry, my
Now,
bad. I see,
I like Miss Luthor. I like Lex
Mr.
Luthor
Luthor.
in Superman, but his performance is fun, but it's not Jack Nicholson in Batman.
Oh, not even close. I haven't even heard that referenced as a top superhero villain.
Huh.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I
have
guess
you?
not. I mean, I think there are comparisons because it's a fame the I think the villain in both of those movies is a more famous actor than the hero.
Yeah, true. Just sort of like Alec Guinness in A New Hope. You know,
Right.
all those dudes are huge,
Mm-hmm.
adding gravitas to, a Michael Keaton that people were worried about, or a Christopher Reeve who people didn't know, or a
Right.
Mark Hamill who people didn't know.
Yeah. And so it's not stunt casting necessarily, but it's a huge get to get Jack Nicholson in a Batman movie playing the Joker. The casting makes a lot of sense, but that he would actually say yes doesn't necessarily make sense to me. He's
Right.
like, and like, did he know, had he seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Yeah, was he
That's
like,
just
"Oh,
what I
I
was
definitely
wondering.
want to be, that squiggy guy in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, like his that steals the bike, like
Yeah. Wow. That wonderful line of villains of in Tim Burton movies.
right, right.
Francis and the Joker.
Francis, right. I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? Yeah. Okay, so a couple facts that I heard
Okay.
and or read,
Mm-hmm.
that I heard that they wanted him, and then they courted Robin Williams,
Makes sense. Yeah.
uh, and they actually signed Robin Williams, and that was what it took to get Jack Nicholson to be like, "Oh, okay, all right, I'll do it."
Oh, okay. Yeah, they
And then
used
they let
Robin Williams as
Williams,
leverage.
yep,
Okay.
let him go out of
Yeah.
his contract. That's what I heard.
Uh-huh.
And then I also heard that Jack Nicholson, oh, let's see. I think his fee was 11 million at that time, but he took 6, but a percentage.
Hmm.
So one estimate is that he made about 90 million on this movie.
So another Star Wars thing, right? Which
Yeah,
is like Lucas is well, this is different though, because Lucas made so much money because he was smart about
right.
residuals. This is an actor
Yep.
saying like, "Give me a cut." They're like,
Yeah,
"Okay," and
sure.
then he's just makes off with it. It's amazing.
Okay, so my question would be, was this more important for them to get him or him to get this role?
I think it's more important to Nicholson because I think no matter what, Batman would have worked because of the
Hmm.
property. Um, Now, Michael Keaton's a weird choice, and he got the job off of Beetlejuice, I'm sure. Tim Burton's probably like, "Hey, I know this guy. He was great in this other
Yeah.
weird movie I made. He's Mr.
Well,
Mom.
so
Ever heard of him?"
I know. So I love Mr. Mom. We
Yep.
still have the Pizza Hut version. That's our DVD. Is
Oh, you
when
made a
you got,
game with the pizza.
yeah, because remember Pizza Hut for a while had this deal where you could get a pizza and a DVD.
Yeah, Mr. Mom makes a lot of sense in that for
Yeah, dude.
sure.
So when we lived in New York City, dude, which
Uh-huh.
is hilarious that we got Pizza Hut then because Yorkville Pizzeria, like by the slice, was on our corner, and they knew me, and I went there like every day.
Still,
But we did
sometimes you
get
want
pizza.
Pizza Hut. Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially
sometimes
if you're going to get a
there's
Mr. Mom DVD with it.
yeah, well, because there were commercials. They were like, you get a free DVD with a pizza,
Okay. Yeah.
and so we still have it's in like a paper sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
I still have that somewhere, probably in my dad's basement. Um, but I think Mr. Mom's a genius. I actually think he's kind of crazy in it.
Yeah. He
Uh,
always has kind of that he is a frenetic kinetic
yeah,
actor, right? Like he's
yep.
a little bit off, which is why I like him in this movie.
Oh, I think he's incredible in this. People like criticize his Bruce Wayne. I think his Bruce Wayne's awesome. He might not be overly handsome or have like a billionaire swagger to him. He's really weird, but I
Mm-hmm.
love that.
Me too. Because if you have
Yeah,
to be weird to
right.
dress up
Yeah,
like a bat and punch people,
totally.
especially if you're doing just what you're doing at the beginning of this movie, which is like just burglaries, just like
Just
kind of
right.
small burglaries. Batman is coming in like beating the crap out of people because they
Well,
steal purses.
he was trying to get his name out there, right?
I guess so.
Like
Yeah, he was
at
scaring them. Yep.
I
Tell your
kind of like
friends.
that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like he's just trying to create a buzz
Mm-hmm.
amongst the local criminal scene. I
No, the
also
Batman
heard
voice
that.
I just did was not Michael Keaton. Pardon
Oh,
me. I
right.
just did a Christian Bale. Michael Keaton is more like, "I'm Batman." Uh,
Yeah, just a little lower, but
a
he
little lower.
differentiates it though.
Yeah.
He differentiates it. He produces the um like the thing that people are going to copy, I
Mm-hmm.
think.
Yeah.
Different voice. It's quiet, it's lower.
It's
It's
quieter, huskier,
yeah.
but it is not Christian Bale in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, see, I think I don't know. I've
Christian
always
Bale's Batman.
hot take. I've always kind of thought that's a dumb.
Me too. I
Okay.
mean, we already have enough trouble hearing what your folks are saying, Christopher Nolan.
um
I'm
I also
afraid.
heard that Michael Keaton got this role partially because of a movie called Clean and Sober.
Okay.
And so I watched the trailer to that,
Uh-huh.
and the font for the movie it's that old Apple font, like
Uh-huh.
Think Different,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's 80s, mid
Okay.
80s.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton, he's an alcoholic trying to be sober, but
Okay.
it like a businessman. I was like, and it looks like he has some of the weird, like, you want to get nuts kind of stuff in it.
You want to get nuts? I love that scene.
Perfect line, dude.
Let's get nuts.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect delivery. Um, so now I want to see that. Add that one to the queue.
Okay, great. Um, Jack Nicholson is perfect in this role. I do think that his smile looks r- perfectly creepy. I think that
Yeah.
everything he says is strange, but works for me.
Yep.
I don't know why and he even says that he doesn't know why he says ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight. He just says, I
Really?
heard somebody say that one time. In the movie, the Joker says, I heard that.
Yeah.
I liked how that sounded when somebody said it one time. Because like he says it, and I don't know if it's Michael Keaton looks at him like, what's that mean? And the Joker's just like, I just I heard somebody say that one time and I liked how it sounded or something like that. Like
Yeah.
and he says something. What's the rhubarb thing? Don't
Oh, never rub another man's rhubarb.
never rub another man's rhubarb.
Yeah.
That's good. And then
Yeah.
my favorite line is when he's before he's Joker and his girlfriend says, "You look fine,"
Oh yeah.
and he goes, "I didn't ask."
I didn't ask. I know.
That's
That's
amazing.
I always loved that line too. I was always like, man, like that in 3 words you can just see this dude is a total jerk.
Yes.
You know? I mean that it's the opposite of when your mom looked at Alex in the mirror and just went, handsome.
What if my mom had said, handsome to Alex, and he had turned around to her and said, I didn't ask?
Wow. Let's rewrite that scene. Go back 30 years. Your mom looking at Alex in the mirror. Handsome. Alex. I didn't ask. Uh wow.
Good.
Let's see. Jack Palance in the movie.
Yeah?
He was huge for us in City Slickers. Like Crap Bigger Than You.
Yeah.
He was fine.
Yeah.
Knox or yeah, Jack Palance. I don't know. He was fine.
I like him. I like him whenever I see him, but he's always going to be curly to me.
He's always going to be Curly's gold. You are my number one guy.
Curly and Curly's brother, right?
And
Curly's
Curly's
twin brother.
right. Oh crap, we wrote him out of the movie. We need him in the sequel. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
I guess he's got a brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who else?
I mean, what about Kim Basinger?
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, I'm sorry. What can you say? She is amazing in the movie.
Yeah.
Her style incredible. I mean, I could see Aaron wearing all this stuff.
That the hair, right?
Yep.
The style.
The
You're
beret,
right.
the jackets.
The
I could see Aaron
hats.
wearing every single one of these.
Yeah. Yep. What about when she looks like a real nerd at first?
I mean, wow. What are you supposed to say, dude? Vicky Vale. I mean, is Vicky Vale is that Lois Lane? The alliterative name. Is that kind of what they were thinking?
Oh yeah, DC's big on that, right? Like Vicky Vale, Lois Lane. Um, what's Nicole Kidman's name in the Clooney one?
Uh,
Chase something.
Chase Bank.
Chase Meridian, I think is her name.
Yeah.
And she is like the most kind of like sexy of them all. Well, unless you're we can't
Catwoman.
we can't not talk about Michelle Pfeiffer when we're talking about that. But that's kind of like I'm not quite sure what to do with Catwoman in Batman Returns. Batman Returns is so Tim Burton saying, "You thought Batman 1989 was weird,
Yeah.
and you thought I made you a little uncomfortable with that one.
Uh-huh.
Wait until you get a load of Dana DeVito. He only has 3 fingers."
Yeah, and he eats fish and like they squishes out it, and he's got that weird butt like
And then
costume.
Catwoman kisses him, remember?
Oh yeah.
And there's
Oh
big
yeah.
rubber ducks. So I
Yeah,
really
that's
really
weird.
like Batman Returns. I think I might
Me
like it
too.
better than this, but it is grosser, so much grosser. It's the Tim Burton of it all is just
Yeah.
upped.
I feel
Um,
like it's clearer though. I feel like it's easier to see. You know what I mean? Like this
uh-huh.
movie is so
Is more
dark and
colorful.
kind of
Yeah.
muddy.
Uh-huh. Yep.
even though we're making a case that it's perfect.
But but
Yeah.
I think probably he took that criticism and said, okay, I'll put some color in this second one. Um,
Hmm.
I think Catwoman is, and maybe this is just my 12-year-old self talking,
Hmm.
like sexy in an uncomfortable way to me. And Chase Meridian, I was like, hello, Nicole Kidman, what's going on here? I was 15 when that movie came out, so I think things are different. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I guess Vicky Vale's a great. They like go on one date and they're already making sweet love. She wears like a wedding dress or something to that
Yeah,
first
that was
party.
random. That was
Yeah.
weird. The wedding dress was kind of a strange choice. But yeah, I think she's excellent in this.
Yeah.
She's super hurt and mad at him,
Yeah.
which I think
I
that
like
scene is
that.
amazing. She crushes that. I
Hmm.
think she's awesome. I think she's super good in this. Um
What about her
See, dude,
reporter friend?
okay, Knox I always thought was stupid.
He doesn't
Didn't
really
like.
fit in this movie.
No. I'm so sorry to say, dude. No way
Mm.
he's gonna listen to this. Not my favorite. Uh, I think you could recast that 100%.
Or take it out. Well, I don't even know why he needs to be in it.
Hmm. I I kind of like that she comes from this like macabre shooting, like filming of this, the whatever that was,
Yeah.
the tombs,
Right. Yep.
and is drawn to that kind of thing. And this
Hmm.
guy's writing these stories, and she wants to capture the
Yeah.
pictures of it. I kind
Yep.
of like that idea.
Yeah.
Uh,
I just think
but
he's. Oh,
she could have been Lois Lane.
whenever I rewatch this movie, I'm
Yeah.
surprised he's in it because I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't remember this at all. It just
Mm-hmm.
makes no impact on the movie, I don't
Yeah.
think. Um, and then there's Billy D. Williams,
Mm-hmm.
Harvey Dent himself.
Yep. Okay, so I heard that he was promised to be Two Face
Hmm.
in the next one,
Okay.
and then that didn't happen until many times later with partner to Tommy Lee Jones. I don't care. Um,
Yep.
and see the Tommy
Uh,
Lee Jones, is that the one who? I think the one was Uma Thurman.
Tommy Lee Jones, Uma Thurman, Jim Carrey. No,
Yeah.
wait. Is Uma
No.
Thurman with Arnold in
Yeah.
Batman and
Oh no, you're
Robin?
right. Yeah,
Um,
you're right.
that
These just get worse and worse.
well, and
Iceman,
it's so
Ice.
weird too. The whole franchise. So those two movies, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, are sequels to these two movies. It's
That
just
doesn't make any
the
sense.
Batmen get recast.
So
Um,
they're in the same universe.
yes.
That just it's dumb. As soon as you recast Batman, it's a new thing.
Yeah, and so then they decide, Nolan decides, I'm recasting and I'm rebooting. But Forever and Batman and Robin are not reboots, they're sequels.
Weird.
And I think at that point they thought, okay, it'll be like James Bond, right?
Okay.
It's just all in the same universe and there's just different actors playing this part. And
Okay.
then they just needed to, I think, after whatever it was, 10 years between, they were like, we need to reboot it completely.
Yeah, well, and then Nolan, he just made it something totally different.
Exactly.
And I love those two.
Me
I
too.
love them. I love Dark Knight.
Um, and then Ben Affleck came on the scene, Pattinson, and now they don't even know what's happening.
Right.
And Michael Keaton, right?
Yeah.
Like was back last summer as Batman. And so there's three consecutive Batmans going on right now. And
Why is that?
none of them have been announced that they aren't going to keep going.
So who Oh, that's also weird. Wait, I just heard something about there being more Michael Keaton Batman.
Okay.
A direct reboot. Where did I just read that? Just yesterday.
Like a sequel to Batman Returns maybe?
Yeah,
Sometimes
maybe
they
to
do that,
this.
right?
Yeah. Be like be like those other ones didn't happen with
Yeah.
Cassidy. What did you say? Cassidy, or what's her name?
Chase Meridian never
Mercedes
showed up.
Benz,
That's a
Chase
shame.
Meridian.
That's a real shame. But
Hmm.
Other than that, I'm okay with it.
She went into making that AMC trailer where
Too
it
busy,
feels good,
too
feels
busy
sad
talking,
here.
too busy talking about heartbreak feeling good in here.
Too good. Um. Okay, so we talked logo Bat. Oh, we didn't talk about the Batcave.
I like the Batcave a lot in this.
So there was talk. I watched all these interviews
Mm-hmm.
where the super fans were super mad that
Mm.
Alfred led Vicky Vale down in to meet
Oh,
him,
yeah.
right? Like there, that's the reveal.
Mm-hmm.
I guess super fans were super mad. So since this is my first Batman experience, except for kind of watching some of the campy shows with my dad
Sure.
as a kid, I was like, oh, okay, she just knows he's Batman.
She
You
just
know?
kind of is standing there, right? And he looks over at her, and now I love his outfit in this scene.
Oh, dude, those glasses, cool sweater, so chill. Wow.
He's. I wonder if I've always wondered this about Steve Jobs.
Mm,
Did Steve Jobs model his
mm,
fashion after Michael Keaton in Batman?
mm,
Black
wow.
turtleneck, light, loose jeans. They're both
Dude,
billionaires.
like it is did Steve Jobs because Bruce Wayne's all about tech too.
Uh
Is
huh.
Steve Jobs trying to be Bruce Wayne?
I've always I mean, I know I'm kind of
Dude,
goofing here,
the
but I
round
actually think it might be
glasses?
true. Yes.
What? Okay, what did we need to see a picture of Steve Jobs in 1988
Okay.
and then 89 and then 90
Yes. If
because
there's a
you're
shift there in
absolutely
his
freaking right.
style, then we know it's true.
What? Wow, dude.
Anyways, Bruce Wayne is sitting there with his
Okay,
jeans and
sorry. Yeah, yeah.
turtleneck and then looks over and Vicky Vale is just there, right? And it's just like,
Yep.
we're not going to drag this out. She knows that he's Batman. I kind of like that. Um, the problem is she never shows up again. And so there's some reporter out there who just knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman for the rest of the movies. What I
Right.
mean is she never comes back in the second one. They've broken up or whatever.
Yeah, I know that's always sad to me how that happens. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just a movie thing. It's like, oh, the guy has to get a different girl,
Yep. I
right?
always felt sad
Guys
about
get to
that in Indiana Jones.
totally Indiana Jones, Bond. I mean, like that's kind of like that's some toxic masculinity. We're just gonna keep the same dude, but just keep getting a different lady. Yuck.
If you're gonna bring Michael Keaton back, bring Vicky Vale
Dude,
back.
Vicky Vale rules. Come on. That's that. I mean, that's just a movie thing, but yeah.
What's Kim
Um,
Basinger doing? Bring her back.
I mean, they could have had a breakup mid movie, like a prequel to Batman Returns. That's like they
Mm-hmm.
honeymoon,
Oh yeah, good idea.
they have a summer, and then they're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, we actually don't like each other anymore.
And that's the whole movie. Batman doesn't do anything. It's just about Bruce Wayne and
Yeah,
Vicky Vale's relationship. It's a
they
rom
can't make
com.
it work. Yeah, when Harry met Sally,
Yeah.
when Bruce met Vicky.
He's a
Um,
billionaire. She's a crack reporter.
hmm
It just didn't work out.
Something happens on a photo shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
They get in a
and
fight. This is a good movie.
yeah, wow, huh? And you could have it be Michael Keaton and Kim Basinger.
Of course.
Um,
Yeah.
huh?
And don't use any young CGI. I just want them looking like they are right now, pretending that they're in their 30s.
Yeah. Wow.
Good movie.
Wow. Okay, I like it.
Anything else that you have on your list?
Well, I was just kind of like envisioning, could I spend a year wearing that outfit?
Hmm.
I have thought about that. Like, if I got a couple of black sweaters and or turtlenecks,
Mhm.
blue jeans and black jeans.
Was he wearing white shoe, like a white sneaker? I know Steve
Hmm.
Jobs would do that, right? Like he'd wear a
Yep, a
white
New
sneaker.
Balance,
Yeah.
no belt,
Okay.
and then an iPod Nano in the fifth pocket.
Yep.
Remember that? He pulled that
Fits
out of there.
right in. Fits right in there. Yep.
Like, huh, Steve Jobs jeans are a little bit baggier for this keynote. Why? Oh, he's gonna pull an iPod out of the pocket to show how how small it is.
Now, if somebody saw you in that outfit, my guess is they would say, "Hey, that guy looks like Steve Jobs," and then you could say, "Au contraire, I look
Mm.
like Bruce Wayne."
Wow, dude, I'm thinking about that. A year, like a year of, because I tried that for a couple weeks. I wore the exact same outfit
Yeah.
3 weeks in a row to rehearsal. Nobody said a thing.
Wow. I think
No,
that's
like
probably
I
the point of it, is that nobody says a thing.
nobody even noticed.
Right.
Maybe I don't know. Do you notice what your staff wears? I guess you probably. I don't know.
I do, and I always think about when I'm speaking, I have to look back at when I spoke the last time at that place, what I wore, so that I
Oh,
don't
that's
wear the
funny.
same thing again. Um,
That's funny.
but yeah, I mean, it's a great idea. He really has two outfits. I'd say he has three outfits. He wears a suit sometimes. He has his
Looks
bat
cool.
suit,
Yup.
and he has the jeans and turtleneck.
Hmm. I love it.
And I would say I would put them in that order for least to most favorite that I see
Okay.
Michael Keaton, what I see him have on in this movie.
Dang.
I like
I
the
love it.
suit, but the fact that the neck doesn't turn, well, that's part of the charm, maybe.
Oh, like he has to do this, right? Like,
Very 3PO kind of like
yes.
turning
Yep.
whenever he has to talk. He only really has like
That's
one or
funny.
two moves. He kicks straight out. That's a
Mm-hmm.
move. And then he punches slowly.
Yep.
I think one time he hits a guy with his head,
Yeah.
but he's pretty immobile, I would say. The
Yeah,
suit looks cool.
you're right. It's not it's there's not any major, like, I just rewatched the Matrix trilogy
Okay.
again because I haven't watched those in years, and just the amount of fighting in that is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you watch this and he's just like boo boo boo,
Yes.
just little movements.
And
Yeah.
again, I will go back to the fact that I like that. I like the way it looks. It hits
Yep.
me right where I like. Uh, and it's just like, because again, even though he's only doing those several moves, looks like he's working hard to
Yep.
make it look good for me, the viewer.
Yes. You know what? Okay, we need to close with that.
Okay.
The thing that is different about Batman, we've
Mm,
talked about this before, than any other superhero
mm.
is it's all about like his smarts
Yep.
and his engineering.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't have superpowers at all.
Nope. He doesn't. And the suit, even the suit itself, isn't super powered. So even when you
Right.
compare him to an Iron Man, for
Mm-hmm.
instance,
Yeah,
or a
isn't that
lot of the
Marvel's
Marvel heroes
sort
that
of
don't have powers but they have suits,
uh-huh.
Ant-Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those guys, their suits are doing a lot of the work. They're mechanical. Not Batman.
Yep.
There's armor. It's armored,
Yeah.
and he's flying around. He's
Mm-hmm.
gliding. He's not flying around. He's gliding, right?
Right. It's all physics, dude.
Yep.
Letting air pressure do the work for him.
But he's smart. There's no AI in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all Michael Keaton in that turtleneck
Yep. And
doing all the work
that's why I have a problem with the Ben Affleck version, which
mm,
is that suit at the end where he's fighting Superman. Yeah,
in the
I don't even know
mechanical suit. You mean?
how he even picks that up. Too heavy. Yuck. I hate that. It's Cran's dream suit. It's too heavy. Yuck.
Yes, I agree. And it's infused with kryptonite or something, isn't it? I can't remember.
Probably. Oh yeah, maybe that's how he could do it. But how did he even physically move an inch? It's like when you see people put on armor. How
Yep.
did they even move?
Well,
How did they fight?
they always have to hang it from the ceiling.
Yeah.
That's
All
what I
right.
see in like old medieval movies, right? It's hanging from the
Yep.
ceiling. They get in a little bit, but then once it's on, how are you
Yep.
moving around in that thing?
Don't know, man.
Yeah. And that's why probably the stuntmen and Michael Keaton himself are so restricted in that suit. But I take your point, which is it's all him. It's all Batman. Now he's
Yep.
also a billionaire. So that helps.
Yeah, but I mean, you still have to move the thing. I guess maybe that's why he sleeps upside down.
I
He's so
like that
physically
part.
fit.
She wakes up and he's
Yeah.
hanging upside down like a bat.
Yep. That was cool. I
I
liked
love
that
it.
when
I
I was
like
a
it
kid.
too.
I loved that part.
It's another image that has stuck with me,
Yep.
that I remember seeing for the first time when I was a kid. And that's probably why I keep coming back to that theme about why I think this movie is perfect. It's such a part of me visually. You mentioned the score, the way it sounds.
Yep.
Um e- and I've said the word camp and you said the word camp a couple times. I think we should talk a little bit more about camp in the result
Yeah.
show, because
Okay. Yep.
that's how it makes me feel a little bit, which is this is a really cool combination of dark but also
Yep.
like goofy.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's analyze that a little bit, as well as my favorite scene from The Flash in the results show, because I think that could be what's lost when our kids watch this
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "That's supposed to be creepy." There is a camp element,
Mm-hmm.
and how it's like putting a special seasoning in a sauce or in a dish, and it's like you put too much, you ruin it.
Yes.
It's like campiness is hard.
Really hard. And I also think it one of the reasons it's hard is because it doesn't work for everybody in the same way.
Right.
And it is almost impossible to explain. We're using that word camp or campy.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain what that means. I know what it is, and I know
Yep.
it when I see it,
Uh-huh.
and I know it's Batman in
Mm-hmm.
this movie. Uh, but it's kind of hard to explain why that is. There's no camp in the Christopher Nolan movies.
No.
And
He's
in
anti-camp.
in the newer DC movies, it's all sarcasm.
Right.
That's not camp. The Flash is not camp.
Nope. I don't know how you make camp, and does camp need to be aged? Is it like it's like
Yeah.
aged cheddar
Who's
or something
doing
like
camp now?
yeah,
Right?
is there
Like
is
I don't
anything
know.
campy now?
I mean, the Beetlejuice trailer looks like it to me.
Maybe do you have to be old to be campy? Do you have to be of the campy movement?
Maybe
I don't
could be.
know.
We need to put some more thought into
All
this
right.
nation. We'll
I'm
come
gonna
back and
do a
talk
little
about
bit of
it.
campy research, actually. See if
Good
there's
idea.
anybody that tries to define it,
Yeah,
and is campiness in the eye of the beholder
it
too?
probably is to a certain extent.
Okay.
Um, but this whole endeavor is right. Like we're trying to
Yeah,
improve. We're trying to prove to
totally.
people that these movies are good, are
Yep.
perfect to a certain extent. It's all in the eye of the beholder, and that is you, our listener. And so we want to know, what do you think about Batman 1989? Is Batman a perfect movie? The best way to let us know that is follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/2gomers, and our web maestro, sorry, our social media maestro Lindsay is going to put up a poll this coming weekend. You can vote whether or not you think Batman is perfect. Thank you to our webmaster Adam, Jason for our graphics, Davis for our music, the aforementioned Lindsay for our social media. Next movie, speaking of camp,
Mm.
I actually think National Treasure is camp. Lots of
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage stuff is.
Yep. You're totally right. Okay, good. More time to talk about camp.
Great.
Love it.
Yep. Okay. That's the next movie. So get watching that before July 4th, and we'll all celebrate together. Kith and kin surrounding the fireworks show, listening to our episode about National Treasure.
Perfect. And I know my kids love National Treasure.
Yes.
So they really like that franchise. So
Yeah, I really think it's the special effects, bro, where there's a line. I mean, people like things. Your kids like things like Ferris Bueller or National Treasure because there's no, um,
there's
there's
nothing that
no news broadcast news style scene where a lady giggles and laughs and falls over and then she's smiling
right.
at the end.
Yep. And
It
then you're
just
like,
doesn't
what?
happen in those kind of movies.
Right.
I do like, my favorite joke maybe is when Joker announces that he's put that poison into all the like shampoos and soaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you see the newscaster and he's like, his hair is all messed up. He has pimples.
Yeah,
The
that's
lady
funny.
has no makeup on. I think that's
Yep.
a good gag.
Yep. Except that, yes, yes, but I'm also like, why? How come the rest, like Vicky Vale, still looks gorgeous? How
Yeah.
come Bruce Wayne still looks pristine? How come the Commissioner Gordon and all those guys all look great? It's just the news people, but the joke totally works,
It's
and I
all
love it.
for the joke.
Yeah,
And
love it. Serves the
I
joke.
I honor you, Tim
Yes.
Burton, that you did it for the joke, even though it doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah, they didn't cross all the dot all the T's and cross all the I's for that one.
Yep.
Strike that, reverse it. You know what I mean?
But I like that's part of the charm.
Yep.
All
Oh
right,
yeah,
dude.
love it.
Great app.
Super fun, man.
And happy watching National Treasure.
Nice. All right, let's stop that. 1, 2, 3, stop. Great, dude. Oh wait. Yeah, great. I was
Save.
gonna clap at the end.
Oh,
I
that
like
would
to
have been
clap
nice,
at the
huh?
end one final time.
Okay. It's too late though because it wouldn't really
It's too
work
late.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Won't work.
All right, I'm stopping the recording. Bye everybody.
Okay.
Batman.
Bye.